I'm I prepared some notes and now I can't read them, but I am tremendously humbled and honored by this award. And I want to thank, before I go too far, I want to thank Brett Wood, the Alumni Association, all the alumni, and Rich, and anyone else who had any role in this honor. And when Brett told me last April that I was going to receive this honor, you could have knocked me over with a feather. And I've asked him, and Brett can attest to this, I probably asked him 10 times, why am I getting this award? Now Ray, I can see, and Ray, I wish I had that hair back too, I kind of, I don't know. But, you know, I pestered him and he finally said, you know, because you've been successful. And so I thought about that over the summer, and I still don't thoroughly accept that premise, but I started thinking about what I would say tonight, and to the extent that I've been successful, I think of the obvious things that we all think of, which are my wife, my family, my faith, and right there after those three is my Ozarks education. And I couldn't be where I am today or have done what I've done without that education. And so I was trying to think of what to say tonight, and I don't know if your family is like mine, but we have a family group text, and we share different articles with each other. My wife sent me one about 2 weeks ago that really resonated with me, and it resonated with me because it was talking about a liberal arts education, and what a liberal arts education means in this world of ours. And I'm very proud that I received a liberal arts education here at C of O, then U of O. I was in the first class to graduate. It must have been with Mark's wife, who I'm trying to remember. And this article was very moving to me, and it was entitled "The Dying Art of Disagreement." And it was written by a gentleman named Brett Stevens, who's a journalist of some note. And he was being given an award in Australia by a group of journalists for his journalistic achievements. And he was speaking on the state of higher education in the United States of America. And Brett Stevens studied at the University of Chicago under Dr. Alan Bloom, who some of you educators will know is a fairly famous educator at the University of Chicago, who wrote a book back in 1987 that was called The Closing Mind of America. And what Dr. Bloom talked about and what Stevens describes is what a liberal arts education means. And Bloom's thesis was education should be about listening and understanding, to question and disagree, to treat no proposition as sacred and no objection as impious, to be willing to entertain unpopular ideas and cultivate the habits of an open mind. And then Bloom went on to say that's what used to be called a liberal arts education. And Stevens goes on to talk about this and talk about the times that we live in and talk about how we've lost the ability to listen to each other, to actually hear each other, understand each other, and contemplate viewpoints that are different than our own. And I thought about my education, and I thought about my professors here, and that's exactly what I learned to do here at the University of the Ozarks. I learned to deal with people who were different than myself, held different views than I did, to understand them, listen to them, think about what they were saying, and hold the thought in my mind that just maybe they might persuade me to think differently about an issue than I had already convinced myself that I felt about it. And that's what the value of a University of the Ozarks education, because no matter what we do in our daily lives, we interact with people. And we interact with people that don't always think like we do and don't always agree with us, but we have to work with them, and we have to find a way to come together and do whatever the project is that we're doing or what we're working on. So I want to say thank you to this university for what it gave me, because it gave me everything. And there's a few people in particular that I want to thank. Gilbert Parks and Rodney and other teammates, Reggie and others who are here, know what an influential person he was in my life. He found me in American government class in 1983, an aimless, misguided 19-year-old, and he taught me and mentored me into what it meant to have an intellectual life, and ultimately to what it meant to have a career in the law. And when I came here, I never would have dreamed that that's what I would have been doing. And so I will forever be indebted to him. Steve Schulte, some of you may remember him. He wasn't here that long. He was my history professor. Challenged me to become more than a student, to become a leader and to take on leadership roles. And then a person that all of you will remember, which is Dr. Fritz Aaron, and his wife, Juanita. Created an environment on this campus that was second to none. It really put the university in a special place and on a special trajectory that we're seeing played out even now. And those two people are very special to me. So to close, I just want to say how honored I am to receive this award and how honored I am to have received the University of the Ozarks education. Thank you.